or Chennai. But let me ask you, uh, you mentioned a very important point of Suryakumar Yadav. Do you think Surya Kumar Yadav, and there is a lot of murmur that they are getting into a huddle to do for a change of guard, considering that Surya Kumar Yadav's uh, run up is not as good as what he promised to be. Do you think there's a lack of consistency when it comes to his uh, delivery? Your views.
Recent times, it's been like more than 1 or 2 years. Other than that, I mean, the way he started from KKR to Mumbai Indians to being one of the leading scorers to being one of the important vital cog in the Mumbai Indians lineup. And the reason why Mumbai was Mumbai because of the middle order, because of Surya Kumar Yadav batting at number three, sometimes opening the innings, or maybe number four. So it's just 2, 3 years that he's not been able to have an impact. Maybe is it technical? Is it psychological? I mean, not just Mumbai Indians. He's failed to perform for international side. So I think it's more of a phase. I don't know how he's going to get back because it's very very difficult. People have started ruling him out completely. In fact, he might lose his place in the Indian team from the Indian team as well. I mean, that is what honestly bold. It's a bold claim. I believe, but then he will lose his side from the Indian team as well. I forget about the captaincy. He won't if he's not there in the playing level, forget about the captaincy. He won't be the captain as well. So they'll start searching for a new captain. But this his form is a big worry. I mean, look at the numbers. Very very unimpressive. Whether you talk about the World Cup, whether you talk about this IPL. In fact, previous IPL he wasn't that great. So I think it wasn't the hype. He definitely was a 360 degree player, a very very talented guy. But yeah, the bad times have come in, I think, and you have to accept it, or maybe you have to start improving. Maybe you could see some of them, coming up from a for coming up next year, for a new franchise, and that could be Surya Kumar Yadav could be one of the guys playing for KKR or maybe some other side. Maybe not. I'm sure not Mumbai Indians next year.
Well, absolutely.
Sunil, if I may add, yesterday after watching it, I could see two. I could say two things for sure. One is Surya Kumar was batting phenomenally well. He was getting to the rhythm, but again, I think that lack of patience cost him that wicket. Coming back to Bumrah, he was bowling beautifully. His rhythm was good. He was bowling at the right places, but I think lack of support again because what happens is he can't be a containing bowler. He has to get wickets. So in trying something new, I think that's where he gave away some runs. So these two things I could really watch from the stands, which like I felt things could have been different if that was not the case.
Well, absolutely. It's not just that the big teams that are falling into the humongous pressure of IPL. Of course, you must remember that we have crossed over 45 games. Satish, is it not or confined to the big teams that who are falling down, or even the big players seem to be succumbing to the pressure of IPL heat, new guys taking over? Do you think it's time for change of guard and they're coming under pressure from the youngsters?
See, I would say it's a yes and a no because Suryakumar Yadav was the world number one player for 2 years, consecutive years in T20. But again, he has had a very, very long run. For the last 2 years, he has not done anything substantially well. So I think it requires a change of guard because at the end of it, whether it is being the Indian team, whether it is the Mumbai team, I would now like to also say that probably when the auction was happening, the team, the management failed to pick some good youngsters. That's where I think the lack of spinners were costing the team. So it's an overall failure. Yes, to answer your point, the biggies are under tremendous pressure because of you have some very good talented youngsters coming and knocking the doors and really pushing them hard. So it's a double whammy for everyone. They are had to score runs as well as they had to keep their position and prove themselves as the world that they're still a force to reckon with. So it's multiple angles that we are looking at. At the end of it, yes, to look at the future, we need to start building and bringing these 20-year-olds who play fearless cricket and then with a strike rate of 200 plus and take the Indian team, T20 team, even more one step ahead.
Well, absolutely. It's an interesting point that we as fans and watchers of the game tend to get little emotional. But we've got a new voice joining us, Zakwan Rumi, who joins us from Colombo. Zach, welcome to the show. And what has it been your overall assessment looking at the big names like Suryakumar Yadav and the others falling down heavily?
Hello, everyone. Well, it's certainly a sad thing to see Suryakumar Yadav and big names falling down the charts, but to have the youngsters show themselves and put themselves passionately out there and showing the new generation is now up and coming is certainly a sight to behold.
Well, absolutely a sight to behold. But at the same time, Ayush Matre's injury seemed to have caused a little problem to the team. Satish, the young buns are also succumbing. Do you think it's too much of pressure on the young guards as well? Because
See,
yesterday,
pressure is always there. Whether you talk about 30 years ago, even when India played just a Test cricket or a one-day cricket alone, the pressure was always there. So, but what I also would like to see is the more emphasis on fitness and the recovery, because I think by these players need to know that just not the power hitting, they also need to be extremely fit. Virat Kohli is a classic example. If you look at even in the past, Kapil Dev was a classic example. They had a very long career, injury-free career. So if you want to be at the top of your game, uh, the base is as much as your skills and your temperament. Your fitness also plays a very important role, and it's very painful to see these young cricketers fall to injuries and lose a good rhythm or the form. So I think the focus needs to be more on the fitness on a daily basis. Fitness is not something you build just before the season. It has to be 365 days. 24/7, you got to be fit. You got to think fitness. So that way you can improve your the career longevity of the career and be a real good asset to the team because your
oh,
fielding also will improve.
absolutely. Well, that was yesterday a game which was very close to Satish and Tosrisby, who you're seeing on the screen. Of course, there's a lot of concern about another person on the screen, which was Suryakumar Yadav, what you see right now. Moving on, let's move on to the